Welcome to YouPrefer. In today's video, we have a fun and exciting general knowledge quiz for you. Let's test your knowledge and see how smart you are. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for many more. Let's go.
Who was the first president of the United States? In what year did Christopher Columbus reach the Americas? Who was the first emperor of China? Which ancient civilization built the pyramids in Egypt? What event marked the start of World War I? Who was the leader of the Soviet Union during World War II? In what year did the American Revolution begin? Who was the first female Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? What ancient city was known for the Hanging Gardens? Who is considered the father of modern physics? What famous naval battle took place in 1588? Who wrote the Communist Manifesto? What city was the capital of the Byzantine Empire? Who was the Queen of Egypt and lover of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony? Which medieval conflict was fought between England and France? Who was the first emperor of Rome? What was the significance of the Magna Carta? In what year did the Titanic sink? What was the main purpose of the Lewis and Clark expedition? Who was the famous nurse during the Crimean War? What was the name of the ship that brought the Pilgrims to America? In what year did the Berlin Wall fall? Who was the first African-American president of the United States? What ancient civilization was known for its city-states like Athens and Sparta? Who was the leader of the Confederate Army during the American Civil War? What treaty ended World War I? Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize? What ancient wonder of the world was located in Babylon? What event is considered the start of the Great Depression? Who was the architect of the Great Fire of London in 1666? What medieval conflict was fought between Christians and Muslims for control of the Holy Land? In what year did the American Civil War begin? Who was the first woman in space? What was the main cause of the French Revolution? Who was the leader of the Soviet Union during the Cuban Missile Crisis? What event marked the beginning of the Renaissance? Who was the first emperor of Japan? What was the purpose of the Marshall Plan? Who was the author of The Prince? In what year did the Battle of Gettysburg take place? Who was the leader of the Allied forces during World War II? What ancient empire was known for its extensive road system, the Appian Way? What event led to the start of the Korean War? Who was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt? What should you do if you like this video? Who was the leader of the Allied forces in the Pacific during World War II? In what year did the Bolshevik Revolution take place in Russia? What event is known as the shot heard round the world? Who was the founder of Buddhism? What was the significance of the Emancipation Proclamation? What was the purpose of the Apollo 11 mission? Who was the first woman to be Prime Minister of India? What was the main goal of the women's suffrage movement? Who was the first European explorer to reach India by sea? What was the main cause of the Opium Wars between China and Britain? Who was the author of The Art of War? What was the purpose of the Truman Doctrine? Who was the leader of the Soviet Union during the Cuban Missile Crisis? What was the main cause of the War of 1812 between the United States and Britain? Who was the leader of the Mongol Empire during the 13th century? What was the purpose of the Manhattan Project? Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize? What event marked the start of the American Revolutionary War? Who was the first emperor of Rome? What was the purpose of the Berlin Conference in 1884-1885? Who was the leader of the Confederate Army during the American Civil War?